can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a 6-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Thank you, Mike Horn, and welcome to the Royal Oakes Show, and welcome to our co-host, Rob Marinko. How you doing, Rob?
Good, Royal. Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. And our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes. How you doing today?
Very well. Happy to be here as always.
So, Rob, this is an amazingly important moment in broadcasting history. You're about to relocate from Los Angeles to Florida.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you're gonna conquer the broadcasting world of Florida.
Absolutely. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I've got my alligator food. I've got my got my big wide white belt and white shoes.
Do people really have alligator food?
Maybe
back
alligator
there?
repellent. Why would you want to attract and feed the alligator?
Well, I want the alligators closer so I can eat them.
Keep your enemies
You barbecue them up.
Did you say eat them?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's going to
alligator
be
tacos.
Okay.
It's going to be an adventure. It's been
Yes.
fantastic working with you for a lot
Likewise.
of years. Yeah,
Yes.
KBC.
Absolutely. That may not be
Newsman.
over.
Of course
I may
not.
occasionally pop up on...
It's not like Florida is Timbuktu. They have the
Actually,
internet
Connor,
there.
it is. They
Oh,
just
okay.
got the internet, and I'm working to figure out if we can use it.
Through the
Right,
miracle
right,
of
right.
radio.
Uh-huh.
Well, this is a special show because, we had fun with Rob Marinko when he's been in for Ken Jeffries a few times in recent months. We've put together some world-class movie trailers. And although they haven't quite hit yet, we haven't actually sold them to a major studio. Hope springs eternal. But it sort of inspired us to do something special this show. We're going to create a movie video, and we're going to sell it to the Hangover people.
Right.
It relates to the music that ran at the end of the first Hangover movie. And so when we make this video a little later in the program, it's going to be stunning. I think it's going to go viral. We're going to sell it to the Hangover 3 or 4 people, whatever. And I'm just very excited
We spent
about
3 hours rehearsing it, so it better be good.
Better damn well be good.
Yeah.
So, of course, Rob, we always like to come up with some candidates for Moron of the Week. So we're going to have a couple of those. We're going to have our feature Guess the Verdict. We'll see if you guys are up to the challenge for that.
I've been practicing.
We're going to talk about the wild and wacky world of bizarre news in the law, and then we're going to get to the top stories of the weekend. Of course, huge top stories. Anthony Kennedy quitting the Supreme Court. Civility is officially dead thanks to Maxine Waters.
Yeah, somehow that's her fault.
Public opinion, public employee unions pretty much dead thanks to the Supreme Court decision. And the travel ban, at least something's alive. The travel ban is alive and well thanks to the High Court.
That's a good
So you guys are
attitude.
ready for the first Moron of the Week candidate?
Yep.
So I don't want to offend Roman Catholics out there, but our first candidate is a Roman Catholic priest. And Rob knows where I'm going with this. He's been following the news, probably reported on it. It's a French priest, and his name is Father Jacques Lacroix. And his excuse is he's 89 years old. But he was baptizing a baby. This is an infant. I mean, this kid looks well under 1 year. But the baby, he cried a lot. The baby just wouldn't be quiet.
So
during the
inconsiderate
baptism.
of that baby.
Really?
I mean, all this time and energy we're putting into this ceremony.
That's how-
Inexperience on the baby's
Yeah,
part.
honestly.
That's how the priest
immature.
felt, guys, because the priest slapped the baby to stop him from crying. The priest said, I lost my temper, and he's been suspended from all baptism and marriage ceremonies.
Interesting.
He said the child was bawling, and I needed to turn his head so I could pour the water. I was saying, be quiet, but he wouldn't calm down. What kind of a jerk is this guy? I know he's 89.
It's almost like if you give people the bully pulpit and afford them the moral high ground for
He
no good
literally
reason.
had a
Yeah,
pulpit.
when he
I don't know if it was
didn't-
bully.
When he didn't actually do anything to earn that moral high ground, it's like that gives him a sense of superiority for no reason.
So he's definitely a strong candidate for Moron of the
Yeah.
Week here on the program.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a feature, Guess the Verdict. Are you guys ready for the challenge? As usual, we've got
Shoot.
three stories here. You have to guess who wins these suits.
Well, first of all, let me state that I am at a market disadvantage.
What, just because we're lawyers and you're
Just
not?
because,
But you've got
that's-
the advantage of common sense
Oh, thank
and
you.
enormous intelligence.
That's a very good
Well,
point,
yeah.
actually.
And a handsome fellow, too. Okay. A New Jersey man buys a milkshake and fries at McDonald's, carefully places the shake between his legs, leans over to the passenger seat to get the fries out of the bag. It's happened to all of us, right? As he does so, his thighs inadvertently squeeze the frozen concoction out of the cup. The sensitive area of his body is not used to the sudden shock of the shake, and his car veers into another car. He sues McDonald's, claiming there should have been a warning against eating while driving. Now, of course, this will bring to mind Stella Lembeck years ago. The hot coffee. Her
almost identical facts.
Her crotch was scorched.
Yeah.
Well, almost.
Not
little,
eating
at the
while
other
driving,
end of the Kelvin temperature scale.
Yeah. And she wasn't driving, but yeah.
So he sues McDonald's. Should have had a warning against eating while driving. Doggone it. Who do you think wins, guys?
Wow. You know what? I think I'm going to purchase some lipstick, apply it while driving, and then claim that there should be a warning against applying it while driving on the lipstick container. There's no reason why this guy should get a warning on. I guess because drive-throughs exist, right? That is the concept.
You're
that links
guessing
eating
McDonald's
food.
wins is what I'm picking up.
Get out of court, guy! Come on,
Rob Marinko. What's your guess? So who do you think won in this titanic legal battle?
McDonald's.
You guys are both right. McDonald's won the suit.
Connor explained it better.
Well,
and there was a lot.
You were more concise, though. I'll say that.
Concise.
Any excuse to put on lipstick, I'll take.
Case number 2, 19-year-old Kevin Mackel is not happy. He put his quarters into the soda machine. It didn't come across with the soda, so he starts to kick and rock the machine. Suddenly, the contraption falls on top of him and kills him. His family sues Coca-Cola and 2 other companies in Quebec, Canada, claiming the machine was not secured and bore no warning signs about rocking it. Okay, guys. Rob, let's get your guess first on this one.
This is
who
easy.
wins?
This is an easy one. In Canada, the family of the so-called victim wins because Coca-Cola is a big company.
Right.
We know how Canada is with their sissy little premier. What's his name? Trudeau?
Trudeau, yes.
Gary
Trudeau. And he draws Doonesbury at the same time.
Yeah, so I think in that environment, I think Coca-Cola's got to lose. The kid's family wins.
Yeah, Coca-Cola's definitely going to lose. You see these bizarre cages around soda machines as though we got to protect people from these evil, dangerous soda machines. They just don't know.
It's like a tiger in a zoo.
Mr. Pibb, be bad.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are both right. His family won $660,000.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
You guys are on a roll. You both
better off without
all
the
right,
kid.
2 out of 2.
Dumb bunny.
So third case here, guys. Here we go. Exotic dancer Cynthia Hess, known as Chesty Love.
Okay.
Chesty Love claims a $20,000 deduction on her taxes for the cost of surgical implants, which enlarged her bust to 56FF. The IRS turns down the deduction, saying money spent to improve a person's health or appearance, that's personal, not a business expense. She takes the IRS to tax court. So, who wins in this huge tax court litigation?
Oh, easy.
Okay.
IRS gets crushed because she in no way improved her health or appearance by adding...
Well, that's your opinion.
I mean, come on. There's no way she's not suffering extreme severe back problems. There's no way she's not, have follow-up procedures to try and manage this ridiculous amount of weight.
I don't know.
And appearance-wise, I mean... That's a subjective factor, but...
Okay, so you think that she wins and the IRS loses. Rob Marinko,
this is basically like a coal miner getting a flashlight implanted in their forehead. It's 100% for the job. It's not for any
good
reason.
Analogy.
It's
a little gruesome. I'm a little nauseous thinking about that, but...
So weird. I could kind of hear you guys talking off in the background, but I was thinking for some reason about a motorboat. So I'm gonna go with Miss Love
that
on
you're
this
going to
one.
buy
I think she prevails.
in Florida, maybe.
Because she needed it for her job. And she bettered her job. She makes more money.
You're both right. Judge Joan Tate, she got a gal on the bench as her judge, ruled that the new breasts were so large and cumbersome, 10 pounds each, there was no personal benefit. She ruled the implants contorted her body into a grotesque appearance, all for the making of money. It was analogous to strapping a dachshund to her chest. The judge pointed out Chesty Love's income went from $1,600 to $14,000 a month after the operation.
Okay. I'm sorry, but that judge had months to think about that decision and write it in a metaphor. I had 10 seconds, and I went with the coal miner, which is applicable to the whole job situation. Dachshund?
Maybe
What
her
does that
her
mean?
clerk came up with
Nobody
the
knows
analogy.
it's
You
more-
guys,
Law
It's
clerks
more
are the
like a
worst.
beagle
you
or a double
both-
beagle.
both batted 1,000, 3 for 3. That's terrific.
Well done, Rob.
So the gun debate is out there. And,
I'm going with the NRA. They win.
well,
oh, this isn't the same thing?
This is a
Oh.
little bit different. What's
Sorry.
unusual about this story is that, of course, the terrible shooting in Parkland, but one of the survivors, his name is David Hogg. He's an anti-gun campaigner. He was accused of hypocrisy, and here's the situation. He's going around, he's writing articles, he's making public appearances about how guns are terrible and bad for our society. Here's the problem. As he made an appearance in New York City, he arrived with 3 armed guards.
Oh, he must not have known.
I think he must have known.
I can't blame him.
So Connor, do you
He'd
think
never
maybe
do
we have a
that.
little hypocrisy here if this anti-gun guy is showing
No.
up with armed guards?
No, this is like saying that that an environmental crusader is showing up in a gas mask so they don't have to breathe the oxygen or the lack of oxygen in our terrible atmosphere that he's campaigning against. He has to have armed guards because our society is full of crazy people with guns who want to kill
point.
anti-gun activists.
That is
he
a
would
great
love
point.
everyone to have no
So
guns.
then he must be for having guns in school so the kids can be protected by these crazy gun nuts.
Exactly.
That's how I see it as well.
He's a 16-year-old
well
high
then
school student who
Connor
almost died.
Connor makes a
So
good
let's
point.
just...
So hunger strikes are in the news, guys. Alec Baldwin and
He
Martin
obviously
Sheen.
has not been on. I just saw Alec Baldwin, and he needed an extra seat.
Well, here's the deal. He and Martin Sheen and LeVar Burton are up for a hunger strike to protest Donald Trump's procedures and policies and so on. And what I think is interesting is Rosie O'Donnell and Michael Moore didn't sign up.
That's so strange.
Isn't that a little odd?
Well, Rosie would be in favor. Well, my question is how long do these celebrities intend to keep this up? I mean, Trump's not going to cave because he would rather see them wither away to husks than anything. Those are his political
You don't
opponents.
think Trump's going to feel bad for
I
them?
don't think
and
Trump
give in?
has the
No?
empathy. No, I think that's the thing that he is definitionally lacking. That is what makes him Trump.
Well, let's go to Japan for our next bizarre story, shall we? This is an amazing statistic. I find this so hard to believe. We all know that they work them real hard in Japan.
Absolutely.
And as a matter of fact, they actually have nets outside of the windows of office buildings in Tokyo because there are so many suicides, and the nets catch the workers who are
Really?
just, fed up.
Because in the U.S., it's just outside radio stations. It's so
That's
strange.
right. How would you feel, Rob, if you showed up for your job interview in Tokyo and you're being shown around the place and you're going to meet Mr. Smith, Mr. Jones, and you notice the net out there, and what would they say
I'll
if
tell
you
you what I
said
think.
That's a nicer
What?
net than my apartment has.
I will tell you something. I'm thinking, you know what?
What?
I got an easier way up the ladder because my competition is going to be jumping out the window, and I'm not.
Cutthroat.
So here's the scary statistic: 27% of the 1,000 men and women surveyed in Japan confessed they really have thought seriously about killing their boss.
Oh.
Yeah, they are so angry.
So the nets are for their bosses, not for them.
I guess they're just unhappy in every single way. In March, police in Tokyo arrested a 21-year-old part-time worker at a bedroom furnishing warehouse on suspicion of setting fire to the building. Took firefighters 31 hours to bring the blaze into control. And the guy they arrested, Satori Sunaga, admitted to arson and said he started the fire to relieve stress.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I think we should just all be happy.
I mean, I use one of those squeezy balls, but,
That's a little bit different. It's a pretty scary situation over there. Finally, guys, Walmart, it's very exciting. Walmart is started a new wine line. Have you heard about this? Several wines. It goes upscale. One brand is I Can't Believe It's Not Vinegar. Another is Nasty Spumante. And the final one is World Championship Riesling. So go out and buy your new wine
Sign
from
me up.
Walmart. Hey, stick with us, folks. We're going to have our music video when we come back.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show. Come to Slater's 50/50 at our newest location in Anaheim Hills, the home of the custom burger and so much more. With breakfast Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 11 a.m. starting at $5.95, plus lunch, dinner, and you can build your own burger too. Add our bottomless mimosas for $12.95, our Bloody Mary buffet starting at $8.95, and our smoked Manhattan cocktail with branded ice. Slater's 50/50 in Anaheim Hills is the home of our living room lounge with fireplace and sofas. It's warm and intimate. TVs everywhere for your favorite sports, and our family game room with air hockey and foosball, plus craft brews, cocktails, and shuffleboard, video bowling, darts, and Jenga. Remember, our happy hour is the best in town. Slater's 50/50 open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 10 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to midnight, and Sunday 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Come to Slater's 50/50 in Anaheim Hills at 6362 East Santa Ana Canyon Road, or call 714-685-1103. 714-685-1103.
Hi, friends. This is Larry Manetti. Go to LarryManetti.com to get my book, Aloha Magnum. You'll read all about the wonderful guest stars like Carol Burnett, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and many, many more. There is an episode guide and my favorite recipes that I really cook at home. I will include a free signed photo with every book. Get Aloha Magnum at LarryManetti.com. Order now. Aloha.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? News flash, the president has changed the tax laws, and now you may be able to pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, the tax doctor can help you pay the IRS as little as possible allowed by law. There are new tax laws for business owners, the self-employed, even W-2 workers. If you have a back tax problem or a few years of unfilled returns, new help to save you money is now here. Call right now to see how the new tax laws can help you. Plus, right now, we'll waive the consultation fee and give you a free tax savings report. Attention business owners, the self-employed, and W-2 workers. Make this free call to the tax doctor now and learn how to take advantage of the new tax laws that may help you pay the IRS less. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. That's 800-985-1610.
Destination South Point. 11 great restaurants, bingo, bowling, movies, race books, sports books, spa, live entertainment, oversized rooms, and the rates unbeatable. The South Point Las Vegas. Book now. Online at southpointcasino.com or call 866-791-7626. southpointcasino.com or call 866-791-7626. At the South Point Las Vegas, you're always a winner.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Rob Marinko and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes.
You spin my head right round when you go down, down.
You spin my head right round when you go down,
So, about those Supreme Court decisions, guys, I was stunned by the volume of news.
Yeah, I mean, usually they don't get this much coverage. Nobody cares, really, about what the Supreme
You've
Court
got the travel
says.
ban decision, huge win for Trump. The poor guy was just so frustrated
a huge
for
win
a year
for
and
the
a half.
Constitution and a huge win for the country.
I agree with you. Connor might disagree. A second big decision, public employee unions are just totally going to be blasted out of the water now.
Yeah, I mean, more freedom for employees. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, that's how I see it as well. And then the final deal, Anthony Kennedy. I mean, this is a cataclysmic shift. I mean, it isn't quite as cataclysmic, of course, as one of the four liberals leaving.
Yeah, if Ruth Bader Ginsburg left, that would be more cataclysmic.
Yeah.
Kennedy's been the swing, but he's been a little bit unpredictable. And I think he's kind of leaned, I don't know, maybe a little bit liberal, but not really.
It depends really on the issue. If it's gay rights, if it's a woman's right to choose, he's pretty staunchly liberal and has come through a couple of times. If it's kind of on anything else, it's been pretty conservative.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, the origin of the Anthony Kennedy deal was interesting. Back in the Reagan era, Reagan nominated Robert Bork. And Bork got borked. I guess the Democrats had a slight edge in the Senate, and Ted Kennedy was really leading the charge against Bork, and Bork was seen as just too conservative, and so he was defeated. And then there was the second choice. The second choice was a guy named Douglas Ginsburg, and so they poked around and they dug into his background, and sure enough, he'd been firing up doobies with his Harvard Law School students. He was smoking marijuana with his students. And I don't know if that would work now. Maybe now it would be no big deal. It's probably legal in Massachusetts and so on. Anyway, but then it was kind of radioactive. And so Reagan was left with we got to get somebody who's definitely going to be squeaky clean. No smoking dope with the students. And he came up with Anthony Kennedy, who I think was on the Ninth Circuit, and he used to hang out in Sacramento. And he started out, as you suggested, pretty conservative. And, of course, he was one of the five in the 5-4 Bush versus Gore.
Yep.
And he's had some conservative decisions. He joined Scalia's famous Heller decision, where they said the Second Amendment really does give you a right to own guns. But a lot of decisions. He's written the main gay rights decision, so he really has been the swing vote for a long, long time.
Yeah, had all the power basically on the court.
And some people are going to say now Roberts is the swing vote.
Yeah. Yeah, and now, I mean, the only way that I think that, in my opinion, I don't really know, but I think the only way that the Trump administration really convinced him to resign now was to use that list of prospective replacements, the list that they said, don't worry, these are going to be the only people we're really looking at. And look at this. They've got a track record with Gorsuch, because Gorsuch was an Anthony Kennedy clerk. And every other person on that list as a potential replacement was an Anthony Kennedy clerk. Now, Anthony Kennedy is not a Trump guy. He's not a fan, theoretically, of Trump and his persona and his ultra, nationalist nonsense. So
don't you think Kennedy would have seen through that, though? If he didn't really want to quit, don't you think he would have said, "Oh, Trump's just dangling this prospect of somebody replacing me who I'll like"?
Well,
but
I mean,
I don't know what he's going to do really.
Maybe he doesn't know, but he thinks he's better off doing it now before the midterms and before Trump maybe doesn't have the power to replace him with somebody he likes at all, and he'd prefer a conservative former clerk of his over a liberal.
Well, that's all the more reason that Kennedy would have stayed until the midterms are over. Because if he's not a big fan of Trump, then you would think he'd stick around.
What's the problem? He's not a big fan of Trump. I mean, what's the long-term plan? He wants to retire at some point eventually. Sure. He's 81, so he sticks around until the midterms. Trump gets crushed. He sticks around, and either Trump loses and they install a liberal, ultra-liberal Bernie Sanders type president, and who's absolutely going to replace him with somebody he hates, or Trump limps through this and wins a second term, and now he's stuck in the same situation. He still doesn't want to get replaced by Trump. He has no prospect of doing anything for the next 6 years. So this is his best opportunity for the next 7 years to retire. I mean,
maybe so.
Rocking a hard place. What's he going to do?
Rob Marinko, you know the mind of Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in
the
Senate.
Ins and outs.
Crying Chuck,
What's their rationale for saying, let's not vote on a nominee now. Let's wait till after the midterms. I mean, is there some sort of unspoken rule?
I've looked at my legal precedents here, and that would be unprecedented.
Are you kidding me? That would be unprecedented?
Yeah.
How about the seat stolen from Merrick Garland? That is
Merrick Garland is not analogous to what we're
literally
Merrick Garland
identical.
was before presidential election. It has nothing to do with it.
It's exactly the same.
There's no president being elected in November. Sorry, Connor. It's a constitutional thing.
Right.
We
it's
elect
just
them
too complicated.
We elect them every 4
we
years,
liberals
not
wouldn't
every
understand.
2 years.
Right.
I'm sorry. We could change it later.
The problem, though, is that Trump can't go too right-wing or else he's going to tick off one of the moderate Republicans, and he can't even lose a single vote, I think.
Well, look, he's got 3 of them, including Flake and What's-Her-Face and Collins that hate him.
Yeah.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about the public employee union decision. Stay with us on The Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with The Royal Oak Show.
Hi, everyone. This is Fred Dreyer. You listen to me every week on the Sports Lounge. Well, I'm here to tell you my good friend and co-host, Michael Horn, is making his wine knowledge and his incredible industry contacts available to you. Mike will educate you in the world of wines. He will stock your wine cellar, wine refrigerator, or wine rack with one-of-a-kind wines. Also, as a lover of a great glass of port, I will share with you my experiences in finding the cigars that fit your palate. I will help you stock your humidor with great cigars that reflect your growing taste and the very best smokes for your budget. Mike and I can set up a once-in-a-lifetime wine dinner, and I can host a sports cigar party. Call us today at 818-818-6400. That's 818-818-6400. Let us find the dream wines and cigars of your lifetime.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Their expert staff can help you turn your book idea into a real book, a masterpiece that could someday make the bestseller list in hard copy and digitally all across the world. Page Publishing can help you completely take your idea for a book, write it, and publish it. So if you want to join the ranks of some of the most famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit. Turn your book idea into publishing gold. Make a free call right now to Page Publishing.
800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. That's 800-378-3212.
The legends of Ka'anapali Luau at the Ka'anapali Beach Hotel will take your breath away with an abundant feast, spellbinding dances, and music from Lei Pono Productions. Be greeted with a lei and browse to see island crafts made by local artisans. As you hear the pu or conch shell blow, your luau experience will begin. The featured entree is a whole roasted pig and a bountiful menu of some of Hawaii's favorite food choices. Oh, you can't forget our famous made in-house taro poi. As your night comes to an end under the spell of the moon, be amazed by the famous firewalk. By the end of the night, you'll be full, and we hope you'll have made new friends and some forever memories while you continue to listen to music from Maui's local Hawaiian musicians every Monday night at Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel. Ka'anapali Beach Hotel, voted Best Aloha Spirit by Hawaii Magazine readers. Call 667-0128 or visit legendsofka'anapali.com for your exciting island adventure.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Rob Marinko and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. So a huge week for the Supreme Court. The Public Employee Union case was a really interesting one. Of course, this was a deal where the court was split 4-4 a couple of years ago. Scalia was going to be the fifth vote, presumably to vote against the unions, and he died, and so...
Hillary killed him. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into
who
that
knows?
now.
I don't know.
All right.
This is a conspiracy theory here.
Sorry.
So the chief said, hey, let's put it on the shelf for a couple of years, until we get a full boat court. And so now they got a full boat court, 5-4 decision. And of course, some people are uncomfortable with it. They're saying, this free riding concept is not really cool. You don't want to be part of the union for some reason, but of course you benefit from the union negotiating bare knuckle style for more wages and so on. And the answer to that in this context is, well, that's in a private union deal. Here, a public employee union is a situation where it's actually drenched in politics, and for the union to say more money, bigger benefits, and so on, that's a political issue, and it's a free speech issue. And to force a person who happens to work for a city or a county to pay money to the union so the union can advance a political stance, the Supreme Court said, that's compelling speech, and therefore they will not allow governments to permit it.
I think it's a ridiculous decision. I think this is completely, as the liberal dissent put it, weaponizing free speech for no other reason than that they needed to weaponize something to come to this decision and draw a distinction between a public and a private sector union. Anything is a political political discussion. There's anything that you can do or say in our society can have political implications, and to say that
if I'm a General Motors guy on the assembly line and I want an extra $1 for the basic hourly wage, I mean, that's not political. That's just
why
me.
Isn't it political?
That's just me.
It's not coming out of
my
pocket.
It's not coming out of taxpayer pockets, but you could say I'm an anti-capitalist or I'm a pro-capitalist, I'm anti-labor, I'm pro-labor, and any of those positions can be political and be a free speech position to take. If you say capitalism is bad and I support this or I don't support this, or capitalism is good and I do or I don't, those are just as political positions as saying government is good or government is bad, and therefore saying government spending versus having to pay labor a fair wage versus having to pay labor the market wage. Those are completely political discussions, and there's no reason to think that one is more or less protected by free speech just because you're talking about the government as opposed to talking about some other political structure in our society, like economics.
You know, in The Incredibles, when Holly Hunter is elastic stretching,
girl.
I think you're elasticizing.
I'm stretching
the politics.
The majority is the one who said this is a labor union decision, and about whether or not you can compel somebody and whether we can, deal with free riding. Oh, wait, let's stretch it and say, in this scenario, it's specifically...
Connor, let me help you out to make you feel better.
Yeah, please.
If you feel bad now
I
about
do.
this decision, just wait till Trump gets another justice. Oh, man, this is going to look like a really harmless thing.
Breathe. I got to do... Millennials do yoga.
I'm just saying.
I got to do some yoga. I got to breathe deeply.
So what about the travel ban, guys? I mean, to me, I mean, isn't it a little weird for the minority to say, well, Donald Trump, back when he was a candidate, he said all these things that sounded mean toward the Muslims.
That's a dangerous precedent if you want to go down that road with people said. That has nothing
who
to
really
do with,
cares what he said there? I mean, the
presidency.
fact is the president decides who gets into the country. He makes decisions about immigration, national security. I can tell Connor's not buying this already. I can tell from the way he said
it's a tough sell, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. But I mean, for Sotomayor to say, oh, this is terrible. Trump, she called Trump a liar. She said he told this apocryphal story about Blackjack Pershing, the general, dipping bullets in pig blood and shooting the Muslim insurgents in the Philippines 100 years ago. And he thought, we got to keep the Muslims out. I mean, does that really relate when Trump sent his State Department guys all over the world to do due diligence to figure out what countries might have risky people and establish this ban?
Well, first off, Trump fired off the initial travel ban
1.0
with absolutely no due diligence or thought put into it. It just had
like the robots on Westworld, he learned.
He evolved, yes, and has that much of a moral compass too. And then the second version, when he realized, oh gosh, that's totally not going to work out and totally is a religious test. Let's throw North Korea in there. Let's throw Venezuela in there and say, look, it's not a Muslim ban anymore. That was version 2.0. That, of course, wasn't even going to pass muster. And now they have the even more attenuated version 3.0 with these exceptions where, okay, it's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. And we got rid of Iraq.
North Korea. It's good to have North Korea in there.
Look, I'm not saying it's not good to have, vetting on people entering the country from scary countries. Of course, we can control our immigration, and the president has the power to control our immigration. But we know what this is. This is very clearly his November 2015 campaign promise in his speech where he said, Donald J. Trump, referring to himself in the third person, as he always does, Donald J. Trump is calling for a complete and total halt to Muslim. We have to do it.
Okay.
We have to do it.
To be fair, interesting point.
Yeah.
So then the test should be, anything goes before the Supreme Court by that's controversial, but the president's challenged in the circuit courts, whatever, and eventually ends up in the Supreme Court. I guess part of the process will now become what the person said when they were in, high school, maybe when they were in college, maybe something they wrote, because we want to go back to try to determine what they were thinking back then, right?
Yes. If part of the law is whether there's discriminatory intent behind this, we have to look at the context and we look at this person's prior statements that indicate whether they are.
He's winning me over.
Right.
Now I get the Barack Obama thing, and you can keep your doctor. So when a president, let's say, just outright lies, the Supreme Court, when they make a decision on that, should be able to take that into account to see how sincere they were, or is this just a sales job to benefit
So
his party.
Obama could go to jail now for fraud?
Yes.
Well, I
Perjury,
think we're
in
getting
fact.
into that area. I think that presidents and presidential candidates should no longer be.
A couple of things occur to me. First,
Yes?
Connor's Trump impression was good, but
Thank
not
you.
great.
I'll work on it.
It was
I'll
not.
work
No,
on it.
you're
I'm
going to
sorry.
work on
I'm
it. And
sorry.
secondly, it occurs to me our panel is analogous to the Supreme Court. Rob, I think we're in the majority.
I would say this is more
Our
analogous.
decision statement 2-1 decision.
I'll say this. I feel more like Alan Colmes. How's that? Just getting
Okay.
the punt, just getting kicked around by Hannity for years and years.
Not quite.
And fortunately,
not
we're
quite,
not
not
giving Mike Gary a vote because he just might tie things up.
We don't want
I
that.
have
We
a
don't want
feeling.
that.
He's a radio guy.
Let's
Come on.
talk Maxine Waters. I was just stunned. I always thought she was such a calm, dispassionate, rational person.
And she's very intelligent. And she's
Yeah.
very when she speaks, it oozes out of her.
For her to say, I want you, if you see a Trump cabinet person in a restaurant, to surround them, to confront them, to push back on them, and
Make
let
them
them
ride
know
in the back of the
they're
frickin' bus.
not welcome here
Exactly.
or anywhere. I believe
Exactly.
those were her words.
Yep.
And for her to deny, after being confronted with her poor judgment, even by Schumer and Pelosi, to go after, for her to deny that it was a stupid thing to say, that it could actually trigger violence, it was really. I think civility has absolutely reached rock bottom. Now, as people have pointed out, Trump said some stuff from the podium in rallies about, let's beat him up, or I'd like to punch him in the face. So Trump and people on the right aren't totally innocent, but for people not to unanimously agree that this is really an ugly symbol.
Well, we've actually had somebody shot from our side, attacked by an anti-Republican.
Exactly.
Steve Scalise. I think
sorry.
when you reach that point where people are getting shot, you need to back off a little bit.
When Trump is at the podium saying that the press is the enemy of the state, and then you get journalists being gunned down in newsrooms, y'all journalists should probably
That's a good
think.
point. Name when that happened by a Trump supporter.
Well,
You must have an example of this, right?
and also...
I remember back, let me see, about a day ago, where some nut that had a grudge against a newspaper editor went and shot it. Turns out he wasn't a big fan of Trump. Turned out he lost a lawsuit. So not analogous, but that's okay. It was nice.
Yeah, and people shouldn't point fingers of blame unless
No,
we
have to point fingers of blame. We have to say that civility was dead when Donald Trump walked into, as Will Wheaton said on Twitter, walked into our collective American living room and took a dump on the floor, and then the Democrats reacted by going, hey, you can't do that. You can't rip babies from their parents' arms and prosecute immigrants, refugees as criminals.
I'm trying to be
to
fair
try to
here,
discourage future immigration,
'Cause
as
we
though
never
there's a
heard-
moral equivalence between actual crimes and presenting yourself at the border as an asylee. But let's say that is the death of civility, and Democrats reacting to it is a reasonable reaction.
You're bogarting the mic, Connor. I must say that Connor does, again, bring up a marvelous point.
Thank you.
Because back in 81, 80, and then the early 80s, we had
I was an egg, I remember.
Yes, okay. Ronald Reagan, I know this is hard to believe.
Right.
He was called a Nazi. And then we had the Bushes come along.
Reagan, he was a big fan of walls, wasn't he?
They were
Let's build them.
Nazis. They were not. You know what Nazi is? If you convince people there's Nazis out there, who murder 6 million Jews and other people, and they should die. I mean, you would have the right. If I saw Adolf Hitler walking on the side, I would shoot him because he's a Nazi.
Right.
So I don't think it started with Donald Trump.
I think you're right. But I think the bottom line is that we should call people out when they say stupid things. Now, Hannity, I think, was stupid when he knee-jerk blamed Maxine Waters for the violence at the newspaper.
Is that Sean Hannity who publicly railed against an abortion doctor on TV until some guy murdered that abortion doctor?
I don't know if it was an identical twin or what, but my point is I'm critical of him for that. But I think everybody should be critical of Maxine Waters.
She gets a pass.
I don't think she should get a pass.
She's black, and on the left, she gets a pass.
I think everybody in the nation should stand up and criticize both Hannity when he reacts improperly, but they should definitely criticize Maxine Waters.
Can't do it.
I think.
Well,
Stephen
Michael
Miller,
Morris and the Alec Baldwins are not going to do it because their heads explode when they think of Trump. They cannot look at him from
I think
affair.
the Stephen
Don't
Millers
make fun of Mike
the world,
Moore. He cries
and,
every night watching the news.
And
Don't
Sarah
make fun of
Huckabee
him.
Sanders, they need to get shouted out of every restaurant until they're no longer members of the administration of the United States of America.
Every president's cabinet should be shouted out of restaurants? Really?
No. I think these people are so morally bankrupt that they need to get kicked out of office by the court of public opinion.
I didn't like the previous. Let's call him Barack Obama. I didn't like that president.
Sure.
And so it would be okay if I went into a restaurant with one of the cabinet members having dinner with their family and get in their face and shout them out of the restaurant. You think that's okay?
No,
Really?
because I don't think that Barack Obama and his cabinet members are objectively bad people the way Sarah Huckabee Sanders,
so it's
who
a
is
matter
a
of
liar
opinion.
on every level.
Okay, so again, the keep the doctor thing, if you want to say he's a liar, she's a liar.
Or if
it gets
Trump's
down
a
to-
liar, you vote him out of office. But you don't surround their cabinet members and commit acts of violence against them at the restaurant.
Agreement or disagreement.
Nobody's
Whether you
committing
agree
an
with
act of
them or
violence,
disagreement.
but socially ostracizing them, I think, is totally acceptable
But
when
then-
people
but
have
just to be-
ascended
Connor,
to this level of scumbaggery.
To be fair, then you would say it was okay with any president to go shout down the
No,
cabinet
of course
members.
not, because I think there is a moral difference between Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Stephen Miller, and John Bolton.
So letting 200,000 people die in Syria, which Barack Obama did when he drew his red lines, you don't think that's morally reprehensible?
I think that he made a political attempt to bluff Assad, and it didn't work.
So we shouldn't shout.
Perhaps it was unwise.
We shouldn't shout at his cabinet.
But I don't think that he intended to put those people at risk when he made his red line statement. I don't think it was a morally bankrupt decision. I think he made
So
a
he gets a
bad
pass. He
strategic
gets a pass.
political
So
decision
there
that didn't work out.
All sorts of different types of violence we can be concerned about. And I
True.
want to get Connor's
True.
opinion in particular because
Yeah.
Connor, being slightly younger than you and I, has more experience with video games. The nation has been horrified by multiple school shootings. And yet, I was reading in the New York Times, some computer games depict school shootings. Valve Corporation is the company behind the online Storm Team, and it pulled a preview of Active Shooter a couple of weeks ago because millions of people objected because it depicted a school shooting. They previously sold Hatred and Postal involving players controlling a character committing mass murder. So the criticism of violent computer games isn't new. Critics have attacked these games like Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty. I'm wondering, I mean, do you know, is there a consensus, Connor, have you read that there is a negative effect on kids as a result of really violent video games?
This was a really big deal in the late 90s and early 2000s when there were a couple of hot button political issues.
Tipper Gore, if you'll recall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And
she wanted warnings.
And there was no scientific consensus that violent video games cause people to actually act violently. Now, violent media of all kinds has been demonized at all points in American history, back from books and then in lurid comic books and then movies, horror movies. Everybody thinks that media that the children are consuming is going to turn them into murderous psychopaths. And that has never happened. Now, this one's most recent specific scenario that is clearly designed just to shock people. The Valve Corporation makes a platform called Steam on which you can publish kind of whatever software you want. You and I could make. Basically, it's kind of like the iTunes App Store. We can make an app and try and put it up. And then Valve does a little bit of policing, and when bad stuff pops up on the app, they crush it. And in this scenario, they ended up crushing it and taking it off their platform because they didn't want to be associated with it. But I could write a book about a school shooting. That's not going to inspire people to shoot up school, probably. And while we might think it's distasteful or disgusting or horrible that I wrote it, we're not really worried about it causing this sort of violence in kids.
Well,
now,
in fact, some people argue that it's an outlet and it could actually reduce real-life violence. Do you think there's something to that argument?
Yeah.
Connor made a terrific argument, well-spoken, and I genuinely agree with him this time on this.
Oh, good.
I actually genuinely agree.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
a big free speech guy.
Yeah, I think that there is always danger when you let free speech happen. You can always wring our hands and be afraid of what will happen to the children when rap music is invading their ears and First Lady is railing against it. You can always
worry. So we
worry.
shouldn't have any censorship in terms of the government stepping in and saying this is too violent. I mean,
I think
we
parents
censor
should step in.
nudity
It's not
and
the
hate
government.
speech and misogyny.
The government has no place in it.
Yeah, I mean we have rating systems already. They're called the ESRB, which rates Electronic Software Ratings Board, that rates software for adult or content or the appropriateness of content for children, and restrictions based on age. There's a 17-year age limit on buying these M-rated, violent or worse games for kids. But I mean, it's always inevitably going to happen. You have a horror movie that depicts terrible, tragic, disgusting things, or a snuff film or whatever else. People are going to see it. Kids are going to see it if you allow it. So are we willing to allow that in our society? That's just a free speech question.
So you think, if you had a 7 or 8 or 9-year-old, would you say, no, I'm not going to let that
Yeah, of course I wouldn't show it to
exposed?
them because I don't think it would, help them become a better person. But that it exists out there, I don't think that is inherently incompatible with the society we want to have.
So when we come back, guys, we're going to debate the merits of a really surprising announcement. Kim Kardashian is thinking about running for president, and I just may throw my support behind her. Stay with us on The Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with The Royal Oak Show.
Experience the romantic getaway you deserve at Maui's premier bed and breakfast, the Plantation Inn. With plantation-style architecture and decor combined with modern amenities such as dual rain showers and whirlpool hot tubs, guests relax in a tranquil oasis in the heart of Maui's historic Lahaina town. The inn is situated conveniently less than 2 blocks from Lahaina Harbor, as well as the famous Front Street, known for its range of shops, restaurants, gallery walks, and museums. The Plantation Inn is home to Gerard's Restaurant, voted Open Table's top most romantic restaurants in North America. Chef Gerard's contemporary island French cuisine consistently earns some of the highest ratings in Hawaii. Come discover why Hawaii Magazine readers named the Plantation Inn #1 best bed and breakfast in Hawaii. Visit theplantationinn.com or call us at 667-9225.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurante to see memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. The Art of the Great Masters in an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old, Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, the romance of Romeo and Juliet. Find our mystical Room of the Moon, and don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, and make all of our sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. Pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, all you can eat, just $21.95. And Angelo's and Vinci's has been named the best Italian restaurant in Orange County 2 years in a row, and our owner has been named Restaurateur of the Year. Angelo's and Vinci's, Fullerton, California, 714-879-4022 or angelosandvinci's.com.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Rob Marinko and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. So, Kim Kardashian was interviewed by somebody recently, and the inevitable question arose. Gee, Kim, might you run for president? And she said, well, I haven't ruled it out. What? Are we near the apocalypse?
It's like every person with $500 million thinks that they could be president now. I mean, Trump did it. He's probably worth in the range of $1 billion.
So has he opened the door? Just anybody and everybody?
Literally
feels
anybody.
They're famous.
Who already has the fame and the ego, and they see Trump's doing such a bad job of it. I can't do worse than that. All I have to do is not be extremely racist, and I'm already way ahead of him. So why not?
Maybe Kanye could be her running mate.
Yeah, that would do it.
That'd be pretty cool. Could you bring yourself to vote for Kim? Do you think, Rob Marinko?
Why not?
Yeah,
Well,
I think it'd be
fine.
fun. So earlier in the show, we had our first candidate for moron of the week, and it was
baby slapper.
the 89-year-old priest who slapped the baby to shut the baby up because they understand when they're 4 months old.
Yeah. Also, who thinks that will work? Has slapping a baby to make it stop crying
great.
ever worked in the history of
Having had a baby, that's not doesn't
opposite
work.
effect.
No.
Yeah.
Can't imagine it would work.
So here's the priest's competition. He's 56-year-old Scott Allen Garrett, and he's rolling along in Martin County, Florida, and he's going 70 miles an hour, and the cops stop him. His car is drifting. The Nissan is drifting. The investigators smell booze from the vehicle's interior. For several minutes, he looks for his wallet, and he can't really find it. And the investigator says it's on the passenger seat next to you. Also next to the wallet was a bottle of 92 proof Sailor Jerry spiced rum.
Nice.
I didn't even know there was a Sailor Jerry spiced rum.
Sailor Jerry is like the knockoff brand. I think it might be Trader Joe's knockoff brand of Captain Morgan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the cops ask Mr. Garrett, where are you coming from? Cop is from Massachusetts.
Yeah. Good.
Mayor of Springfield. And he says he wasn't sure. Wasn't sure where he's coming from. Finally, he says, I left my girlfriend's house.
Okay.
He wasn't wearing shoes. He said his girlfriend pissed him off, and they quarreled about his dog. And now we're coming to the point of the story. Garrett says to the cops, the dog was driving. He tries to sell the... And according,
is the dog in the car?
The dog's in the car with him.
Okay, good.
Yes.
That's
fair question.
At least he's got the dog in there.
So he's halfway there to the story being corroborated.
But even Scooby-Doo, Rin Tin Tin, or Old Yeller, they've never been known to do that. However, a slew of recent Subaru commercials feature dogs driving, so you never know. Trooper asked Garrett, Sir, how many drinks have you consumed? And he said, a bunch of drinks. And so he had 3 times the legal limit. It's like 2.252. So I think that he is a powerful candidate. Would you guys like to vote? Who do you think is the bigger moron of the week? The priest slapping the baby for no apparent reason, or Mr. Garrett who just claimed that the dog was doing the driving?
I'm worried that the dog guy, I mean, obviously the priest is morally reprehensible. Dog guy might not be thinking this whole thing through, and bear with me here.
Right.
Is the punishment for letting your dog drive your car less than the punishment for DUI?
He must have looked it up and concluded that according to the statutes, there's a
right.
slightly smaller jail time.
Both of them end up running over innocent people. Okay, I'm going to say the priest because don't slap babies, people. Come on.
Yeah, I think the priest wins this one.
One of the sad statistics of the week, guys, was a survey done in the Gallup people or something. Republicans in general, they like Kim, the head of North Korea, more than they like Pelosi. And Democrats in general, they like Kim of North Korea more than they like Trump. I think that we've got to get together. Yeah. We've got to figure out a way to...
We should all like Kim more? Is that what you're saying?
We should...
We should all like Kim less. I mean, that's really the problem. Kim is
So we're honoring 1968's music, guys, and Mike Gary's going to play us out with one of the huge hits from that year. Enjoy. I bet you know former professional disc jockey Rob Marinko. You know the name of this?
Absolutely, I know the name of it.
CRN Digital Talk Radio prides itself on being the station of every situation. Of course, you can always listen live through your local cable TV provider, as well as on our website at crntalk.com. But if cutting-edge technology is more your style, you'll be happy to know that CRN is now available on Wi-Fi radio. Simply log on to Reciva.com, that's RECIVA.com, and look for CRN. You can access all of our great shows and listen live anywhere in the world. Be part of your favorite shows and get the full CRN listening experience you would have with any traditional radio, podcast, or a live stream from our website.